The space around Earth turned dark as hundreds of alien ships came out of nowhere. The ships were huge and black, bigger than anything humans had ever built. They moved in perfect lines across the sky, blocking out the stars behind them. Admiral Kexthor stood on the bridge of his flagship and looked at the small blue planet in front of him. He had done this same thing 47 times before. 47 worlds had given up without a fight when they saw his fleet. This would be number 48. The alien admiral was tall and thin, with gray skin and 4 arms. His race, the Centauri, had been taking over planets for thousands of years. They were good at it. They knew how to make other species afraid. On Earth, alarms were going off in every major city. President Lisa Morgan ran down the stairs to the emergency bunker under the White House. The room was full of screens showing the alien fleet. Military officers from around the world were calling in on video links. General Patrick Hayes was already there when she arrived. He was a big man with short gray hair who had been a soldier for 30 years. Next to him stood Admiral Claire Bennett, the head of Earth's new space navy. She was younger than most admirals, but she was smart and tough. "How many ships?" President Morgan asked as she sat down at the main table. "Our best count is 300, Admiral Bennett said. "Each one is about 3 times the size of our biggest warship." Captain Jake Morrison was watching the data come in from the space stations around Earth. He was only 32 years old, but he had been picked to command one of humanity's most important ships. His face was calm, but his hands were tight on the table edge. "They're not moving to attack," he said. "They're just sitting there." Dr. Elizabeth Kane walked into the room carrying a thick folder of papers. She ran the most secret project in human history. For 10 years, she had been working on weapons that could fight aliens. Now it looked like she would get to test them. The main screen in the room lit up with an alien face. Admiral Kexthor looked down at the humans with cold, dark eyes. When he spoke, computers translated his words into English. "Small creatures of the 3rd planet," the alien said. His voice was deep and had no feeling in it. "You have done something very bad. You have built cities on worlds that belong to the Centauri Empire." President Morgan stood up. She knew this moment would decide if humanity lived or died. "We built those colonies on empty planets. No one was living there." The alien admiral made a sound like a laugh, but there was no joy in it. "All worlds in this part of space belong to the Empire. You had no right to take them. Now you must pay for what you have done." "What do you want?" the president asked. "You will leave all the worlds you have taken. You will bring all your people back to this planet. Then you will surrender your world to the Empire. We will decide what happens to your species after that." General Hayes stepped forward. "And if we refuse?" Admiral Kexthor's 4 arms moved in a way that might have been a shrug. "Then we will kill every human in space. Then we will kill every human on your planet. Your species will be gone forever." The room was quiet for a long moment. Everyone knew the aliens had enough ships to do exactly what they said. Earth's space navy had only 50 ships, and they were much smaller than the alien ones. "How long do we have to decide?" President Morgan asked. 72 of your days, the alien said. "At the end of that time, you will surrender or you will die. There is no other choice." The screen went black. The alien fleet just sat there in space, waiting. Dr. Kane opened her folder and spread papers across the table. "Madam President, we need to talk about Project Prometheus." Admiral Bennett looked at the papers. They showed designs for weapons she had never seen before. "Are these real?" "Very real," Dr. Kane said. "We've been building them for 5 years. The aliens think they know what humans can do. They're wrong." Captain Morrison studied the weapon plans. "How many of these do we have?" "Enough," Dr. Kane said with a small smile. "The question is whether we have enough time to get them all in place." President Morgan looked around the room at her advisors. These people would help her make the most important decision in human history. What are our real chances if we fight? General Hayes was quiet for a moment. If we fight the way they expect us to fight, we lose. But Dr. Kane's weapons change things. The aliens have never faced anything like what we've built. They've conquered 47 worlds, Admiral Bennett said. They think they know how this works. They send their fleet, make their demands, and the other species give up. But humans don't give up. Captain Morrison nodded. They're expecting us to be scared. They want us to surrender without a fight. That's their mistake. President. Morgan made her decision. Dr. Kane, you have 72 days to get your weapons ready. General Hayes, start moving our people into position, but make it look like we're preparing to surrender. Admiral Bennett, I want our ships ready for anything. She looked at each person in the room. We're not going to surrender. We're going to show these aliens what happens when they threaten humanity. They think they can take our worlds and make us slaves. They're about to learn how wrong they are. The meeting broke up, and everyone went to work. Outside, the alien fleet waited in the dark of space. Admiral Kexthor was sure the humans would surrender, just like all the others had. He had no idea that humans were different. He didn't know that when humans were threatened, they didn't run or hide. They got angry, and when humans got angry, they got dangerous. The countdown to war had begun. 3 days after the aliens gave their demand, the world looked like it was falling apart. News stations showed people running in the streets. Governments seemed to be breaking down. Military bases looked empty and quiet. But this was all a lie. Humanity was not panicking. They were getting ready to fight. Commander Ryan Phillips stood in the control room of Luna Base, the big military station on the moon. Outside the windows, he could see Earth hanging in the black sky like a blue marble. To anyone watching, it looked like the base was being shut down. Workers were loading equipment onto ships and flying away. Sir, the last fake evacuation ship just left, said Lieutenant Maria Santos. She was young and nervous, but she knew how to follow orders. The aliens think we're running away. Phillips smiled. Good. Let them think that. How are the real preparations going? The hidden weapon platforms are all online, Santos said. We have enough firepower up here to take out 50 alien ships. What the aliens didn't know was that Luna Base was not just a research station. For 5 years, humans had been building secret weapons inside the moon itself. The moon's surface was covered with fake mining equipment that was really giant guns. Underground, there were missiles that could fly faster than anything the aliens had ever seen. On Mars, Lieutenant Colonel Amy Parker was watching her own fake evacuation. Red dust swirled around the colony domes as transport ships took off one after another. To alien watchers, it looked like the humans were abandoning their first colony world. Colonel, the last civilian ship is away, reported Sergeant Bill Cooper. He was a big man who had spent 10 years fighting on Earth before coming to Mars. All that's left is military personnel, Parker nodded, and they all volunteered to stay even though they know they might die. What the aliens couldn't see was that the Mars colony was now a giant military base. The domes that looked empty were full of automated weapons. Underground factories were building fighter ships as fast as they could. The red planet was ready for war. In the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, Captain Jake Morrison floated in space inside his ship, the UES Defiance. Around him, dozens of other ships were hidden among the rocks. They had been there for 2 years, waiting for this moment. Captain, all ships report ready, said his second-in-command, Commander Lisa Park. She had been with Morrison for 5 years and trusted him completely. The aliens have no idea we're here. Morrison looked at the tactical display. Each ship in his fleet carried weapons that no alien had ever seen. They had plasma cannons that could cut through the strongest armor, They had missiles that could change direction so fast that no defense system could stop them. "How long until the alien fleet reaches Earth?" Morrison asked. 68 days, sir," Park said. "We'll be ready for them." Back on Earth, Dr. Elizabeth. Kane worked in a secret laboratory 5 miles underground. The lab was hidden under a mountain in Colorado, and only a few people in the government knew it existed. For 10 years, she had been studying pieces of alien technology that human spies had stolen. "Doctor, the quantum disruptors are ready for field testing," said her assistant, Dr. Robert Lee. He was a young physicist who had helped design humanity's most dangerous weapons. Kane looked at the device on the table in front of her. It was small and silver, about the size of a coffee cup. But this little machine could tear apart the molecules that held matter together. One of these weapons could destroy an alien ship in seconds. "How many do we have?" Kane asked. 50 completed. "Units," Lee said. "With enough raw materials to build 200 more if we need them." Kane smiled. The aliens thought humans were primitive. They had no idea that human scientists had been studying their technology and making it better. The weapons humans had built were more advanced than anything the Zentari Empire had ever seen. In the White House bunker, President Morgan was meeting with leaders from around the world. The President of China, the Prime Minister of Britain, and the heads of 50 other countries were all connected by secure video links. "My fellow leaders," President Morgan said, "in 68 days, we will face the greatest threat in human history. But we will not face it alone. Every nation on Earth is united in this fight." The British Prime Minister spoke first. "Our ships are ready, Madam President. We will fight with you until the end." "China stands with humanity," said the Chinese president. "Our factories are building weapons day and night." One by one, every leader said the same thing. Humanity would fight together. They would not surrender. They would not become slaves. General Hayes walked into the bunker with a thick stack of reports. "Madam President, our preparations are going better than we hoped. Every military unit in the world is ready. Our weapons are in position. Our ships are hidden and waiting." Admiral Bennett added her own report. "Our space forces are ready to fight. The aliens think we only have 50 ships, but we actually have 200. They're hidden in places the aliens would never think to look." President Morgan felt proud of her species. When humans were threatened, they didn't panic. They worked together. They got creative. They found ways to win that no one else had ever thought of. "What about the colonies?" she asked. "Are our people safe?" "All civilian populations have been evacuated to safe locations," General Hayes said. "The aliens will find empty cities when they go to check on us, but those cities are full of surprises." Dr. Kane entered the room, carrying a small metal case. "Madam President, I wanted to show you something." She opened the case to reveal a weapon that looked like a small pistol. "This is a personal plasma weapon," Kane said. "It has enough power to cut through alien armor. Every soldier will carry one of these." President Morgan picked up the weapon. It was lighter than she expected. "How did we develop all of this so quickly?" "We've been preparing for this day for 10 years, Kane said. "Ever since we first detected alien signals in space, we knew they would come eventually. We've used every day to get ready." The president looked around the room at her advisors. These people had spent years preparing for a war that might never come. Now that it was here, they were ready. "The aliens think they know how this will go," she said. "They think we'll surrender like everyone else. They're about to get the biggest surprise of their lives." Admiral Kexthor stood on his bridge and watched the human colonies through his ship's cameras. The cities looked empty. Ships were flying away loaded with people and equipment. Everything was going exactly as he had planned. "Admiral, the humans appear to be abandoning their outer colonies," reported his intelligence officer, Commander Zarthek. "Their military forces are pulling back to their home planet." Kexthor made the sound his people made when they were pleased. "Perfect. They are following the standard pattern. In 65 days, they will surrender their homeworld as well. The alien admiral didn't know was that the evacuating human ships were actually moving weapons and soldiers into position. The abandoned colonies were now military fortresses. The retreating human forces were actually surrounding his fleet. Humanity was about to spring the biggest trap in galactic history, and the Zentari Empire had no idea what was coming for them. On the 70th day, Admiral Kexthor expected to receive humanity's surrender. Instead, he got something that would change galactic history forever. President Morgan appeared on every communication channel in the solar system. Her face was calm, but her eyes were hard as steel. Behind her stood the flags of every nation on Earth, united for the first time in human history. "To the Zentari Empire and anyone else who thinks they can threaten humanity," she said, "you have made the biggest mistake of your lives. You came to our home and told us to surrender. You threatened to kill our children and destroy our worlds. Admiral A." Kexthor leaned forward in his command chair. "This was not how things were supposed to go. The humans should be begging for mercy by now. You think we are weak because we are new to space," President Morgan continued. "You think we will give up without a fight because that's what other species have done. But you don't understand humans at all." The president's voice got stronger. "Humans don't surrender. Humans don't kneel. Humans don't run away when bullies threaten them. We fight, and when we fight, we win." On the bridge of the UES Defiance, Captain Morrison smiled as he heard the president's words. Around him, his crew was getting ready for battle. They had been waiting in the asteroid belt for 70 days, and now it was time to show the aliens what human technology could do. "All ships, this is Morrison," he said into his communicator. "Operation Prometheus is now active. It's time to teach these aliens why they should have left us alone." Throughout the solar system, hidden human forces came to life. On the moon, Commander Phillips watched as fake mining equipment opened up to reveal massive guns. The weapons were bigger than anything humans had ever built before, and they were all pointed at the alien fleet. "Luna Base to all stations," Phillips said. "We are weapons-free. Let's show these invaders what happens when they threaten our home." On Mars, Lieutenant Colonel Parker's automated fighters launched from hidden bases under the red sand. There were thousands of them, small and fast, each one carrying a nuclear warhead. They moved in perfect formation toward the alien ships that were watching Mars. "Mars defense to all units," Parker said. "The gloves are off. Make every shot count." In the asteroid belt, Morrison's hidden fleet powered up their engines. The UES Defiance led the way, followed by the UES Vengeance, the UES Liberty, and dozens of other ships. Each one was armed with weapons the aliens had never seen before. "Remember your training," Morrison told his crew. "We hit hard, we hit fast, and we don't stop until every alien ship is scrap metal." Admiral Kexthor watched in shock as human ships appeared from everywhere at once. How had they hidden so many vessels? His intelligence report said the humans only had 50 ships, but he was seeing 10 times that number. "Sir, we're detecting massive energy signatures from the human moon," his sensor officer reported. "Those aren't mining stations, they're weapons platforms." "Impossible," Kexthor said. "Our scans showed no military installations." "They were hidden, sir. The humans have been lying to us this whole time." For the first time in his long military career, Admiral Kexthor felt something he had never experienced before. Fear. The battle began when the lunar weapons platforms fired their first shots. Beams of pure energy lanced across space, hitting 3 Zentari ships. The alien vessels exploded instantly, their shields and armor useless against the human weapons. "What kind of weapons are those?" Kexthor demanded. His science officer was frantically checking his instruments. "I don't know, sir. The energy readings are unlike anything in our database. The humans have developed something completely new." Captain Morrison's ship, the Defiance, attacked the alien flagship directly. His plasma cannons fired streams of superheated matter that cut through alien armor like it was paper. The Centauri ship's shields failed in seconds. "Direct hit on their command section," Morrison's weapons officer reported. "Their shields are down. Fire the quantum torpedoes," Morrison ordered. The torpedoes were Dr. Kane's greatest invention. They used quantum tunneling to pass through solid matter and explode inside enemy ships. The alien vessel shuddered as explosions tore through its hull from the inside. On Mars, Parker's fighters swarmed around the Centauri cruisers like angry wasps. The aliens tried to shoot them down, but the human fighters were too small and too fast. When they hit the alien ships, their nuclear warheads turned parts of the enemy vessels into clouds of glowing gas. "This is impossible," one of Thor's ship commanders reported. "The human fighters are destroying our cruisers. Our weapons can't hit them." Admiral Bennett commanded the main human fleet from her flagship, the UES Sovereign. Her ship was fighting 3 alien dreadnoughts at the same time, but her revolutionary weapons gave her the advantage. "Fire the molecular disruptors," she ordered. The disruptors were weapons that attacked the basic structure of matter itself. When they hit the alien ships, the enemy vessels began to tear themselves apart at the atomic level. There was no defense against weapons that destroyed the bonds holding matter together. Back on Luna Base, Commander Phillips activated the base's most powerful weapon. It was a magnetic railgun that could fire projectiles at nearly the speed of light. When the tungsten bullets hit alien ships, they went completely through them, leaving holes big enough to fly a fighter through. "Target the big ones first," Phillips told his weapons crews. "Let's see how tough these aliens really are." Dr. Kane watched the battle from her underground laboratory. Years of work had led to this moment. Her weapons were performing even better than she had hoped. The aliens had expected to fight primitive humans with simple technology. Instead, they were facing weapons more advanced than anything in their empire. "Doctor, the quantum disruptors are working perfectly," her assistant reported. "Enemy ships are being destroyed faster than they can react." Kane smiled. "The aliens thought they could study our technology from a distance and learn everything about us. They never imagined we were studying their technology too and making it better." Admiral Thor's flagship was taking heavy damage. Half his fleet was already destroyed, and the battle had only been going on for an hour. This was supposed to be a simple intimidation mission. No one had ever fought back against the Centauri Empire like this. "Sir, we need to retreat," his tactical officer said. "We're losing ships faster than we can count them." Retreat? Thor had never retreated from anything in his life. "We have 300 ships." Sir. "We're down to less than 100, and more are being destroyed every minute." On Earth, President Morgan watched the battle through satellite feeds. The alien fleet that had seemed so threatening 3 days ago was being torn apart by human weapons. Ships that had conquered 47 worlds were exploding like fireworks against the dark of space. General Hayes stood beside her, watching the tactical displays. "Madam President, it's working even better than we hoped. The aliens are completely outmatched." "How are our casualties?" she asked. "Minimal, ma'am. We've lost maybe a dozen fighters and taken some damage to a few ships, but nothing serious." "The aliens can't even hit most of our forces." Admiral Bennett's voice came through the speakers. "All alien ships in the Mars sector have been destroyed, moving to assist Captain Morrison's attack on their main fleet." Morrison's voice followed. "UES Defiance to Earth Command. Enemy flagship is heavily damaged and trying to retreat. Request permission to finish them off." President Morgan looked around the command room. Every face showed the same thing: pride. Humanity had been threatened with extinction, and they had turned the tables completely. "Permission granted, Captain," she said. "Show them what happens when they threaten our children." The last phase of the battle was about to begin, and the Centauri Empire was about to learn a hard lesson about humanity. The space around Earth became a graveyard of burning alien ships. What had started as an overwhelming Centauri fleet was now scattered wreckage drifting in the darkness. But the humans were not finished yet. Captain Morrison pushed his ship, the Defiance, harder than it had ever been pushed before. His target was Admiral Kexthor's flagship, a massive vessel that was trying to escape toward the edge of the solar system. "Engine room, I need everything you've got," Morrison called down to his chief engineer. "Captain, we're already at 110% power," Chief Petty Officer Danny Rodriguez replied. "I can give you maybe 5% more, but the engines might not hold together." "Do it," Morrison ordered. "We're not letting their commander get away." The Defiance shot forward like a bullet, closing the distance to the alien flagship. Morrison's plasma cannons fired continuously, eating away at the enemy ship's armor. The alien vessel was huge, but it was also slow and damaged. On the flagship's bridge, Admiral Kexthor was watching his empire's greatest military disaster unfold. In 6 hours, the humans had destroyed over 200 of his ships. His supposedly invincible fleet was being hunted down like animals. "Sir, the human ship is gaining on us," his navigation officer reported. "They're faster than our projections indicated." "How is that possible?" Kexthor demanded. "Our intelligence said human ships were slow and clumsy." "Our intelligence was wrong about everything, sir," his tactical officer said quietly. "The humans have been lying to us from the beginning." Meanwhile, Lieutenant Colonel Parker was coordinating the hunt for the remaining alien ships around Mars. Her automated fighters had destroyed most of the Zentari cruisers, but a few were still trying to escape. "Fighter Squadron 7, you have 3 enemy ships heading for the asteroid belt," she told her pilots. "Don't let them reach open space." "Copy that, Colonel," came the reply from Lieutenant Kevin Murphy, the squadron leader. "We're on them." Murphy's fighters moved like a pack of wolves, surrounding the fleeing alien ships. Each fighter was small, enough to fit in the cargo bay of an alien cruiser, but they carried weapons that could punch holes in warship armor. "This is for threatening our home," Murphy said as he lined up his shot. His nuclear missile hit the lead alien ship right in the engine section. The explosion lit up the space around Mars like a second sun. Back near Earth, Admiral Bennett was dealing with the largest group of surviving alien ships. 20 Zentari vessels had formed a defensive circle and were trying to fight their way out of the solar system, but they were surrounded by human ships on all sides. "This is Admiral Bennett to all Zentari ships," she broadcast on their communication frequency. "You have one chance to surrender. Drop your shields and prepare to be boarded, or we will destroy you where you sit." The alien response was a barrage of weapons fire. Energy beams and missiles flew toward Bennett's ship, but the UES Sovereign's shields held easily. Human defensive technology was just as advanced as their weapons. "So be it," Bennett said calmly. "All ships weapons free. Show them no mercy." The final battle was swift and brutal. Human ships attacked from every direction, using weapons the aliens couldn't defend against. Quantum torpedoes phased through alien armor. Molecular disruptors tore enemy ships apart at the atomic level. Plasma cannons cut through hulls like they were made of butter. Commander Phillips watched from Luna Base as the last alien defensive formation was destroyed. His railguns had been picking off enemy ships one by one, sending tungsten bullets through their hulls at incredible speeds. "That's the last of the big ones," he reported to Earth Command. "All remaining alien ships are trying to run. Don't let any of them escape," came the reply from General Hayes. "We want to send a clear message to their empire." Dr. Kane monitored the battle from her underground laboratory. Her weapons were performing better than she had ever dared to hope. The quantum disruptors were tearing apart alien ships faster than the enemy could retreat. The molecular weapons were making entire sections of enemy vessels simply disappear. "Doctor, all weapons systems are functioning at optimal levels," her assistant reported. "Enemy casualties are approaching 90%. Kane nodded with satisfaction. "The aliens thought they could intimidate us with superior numbers. They never imagined we would have superior technology." Captain Morrison's Defiance finally caught up to Admiral Kexthor's flagship. The alien vessel was badly damaged, with atmosphere leaking from dozens of holes in its hull, but it was still dangerous. "This is Captain Morrison to alien flagship," he broadcast. "Your fleet is destroyed. Surrender now and we might let you live." Kexthor's reply came back filled with rage and desperation. "You primitive savages! The Empire will send 1,000 fleets to destroy you." "Let them come," Morrison said with a cold smile. "We'll be ready for them too." The final duel between the two ships lasted only minutes. Morrison's crew had been training for this moment for years, while the alien crew was demoralized and confused. When the Defiance's quantum torpedoes hit the alien flagship, the massive vessel broke apart in a series of explosions that could be seen from Earth. Admiral Kexthor's last transmission was filled with disbelief. "Impossible! We were the conquerors! How did primitives defeat the Empire?" Throughout the solar system, the last alien ships were being hunted down and destroyed. Some tried to hide in the asteroid belt, but human sensors found them easily. Others attempted to surrender, but after threatening to wipe out humanity, they received no mercy. Lieutenant Murphy's fighter squadron cornered the last group of alien ships near Jupiter. The enemy vessels were small scouts that had been hanging back during the main battle, probably hoping to escape and report back to their empire. "This is the end of the line for you," Murphy told them. "You came here to destroy our species. Now you're going to pay for that mistake." The final alien ships died in nuclear fire, their hulls torn apart by human weapons. After 6 hours of battle, the Centauri Third Armada had ceased to exist. President Morgan stood in the command center, watching the tactical display as the last red dots disappeared from the screen. Around her, military officers and government officials were cheering, but she remained calm. "Casualty reports," she asked General Hayes. 14 fighters lost, 6 ships with minor damage, and fewer than 100 wounded, Hayes reported. "We didn't lose a single major vessel. And the enemy? Complete destruction, Madam President. Of the 300 ships they brought, none survived. We have some wreckage to study, but no intact vessels and no survivors." Admiral Bennett's voice came through the speakers from her flagship. "Earth Command, this is Admiral Bennett. The solar system is secure. All hostile forces have been eliminated." President Morgan picked up the microphone to address her military forces. "To all human forces in the solar system, this is your Commander-in-Chief. You have just achieved the impossible. You have defeated the greatest military threat our species has ever faced." She paused, thinking about what this victory meant. "The aliens came here expecting us to surrender without a fight. They thought we were weak and primitive. They learned too late that humans are neither weak nor primitive. We are something they had never encountered before, a species that refuses to give up." Dr. Kane was already thinking about what came next. "Madam President, we need to prepare for retaliation. The Centauri Empire won't ignore the destruction of an entire fleet." "Let them come," President Morgan said firmly. "We've proven that human technology is superior to theirs. If they want to send more fleets, we'll destroy those too." General Hayes was studying the battle recordings. "Ma'am, we should broadcast footage of this battle to the galaxy. Let every species see what happens when you threaten humanity." The president nodded. "Do it. Send the message on all frequencies. Make sure everyone in the galaxy understands that Earth is not a planet to be conquered. We are a species to be respected." As the cleanup operations began, humans throughout the solar system felt a new sense of pride. They had been tested by the greatest military force in the galaxy, and they had passed that test with flying colors. The age of human expansion was about to begin, and the galaxy would never be the same. The countdown timer on Luna Station showed 28 days. Admiral Morrison had not slept in 40 hours. Reports flooded in from across human space as every world transformed itself into a fortress. General Ryan Kelly stood over the tactical display in the Earth Command Center. Red dots marked every human colony. Blue lines showed supply routes. Green triangles marked defense positions. The map looked like a spider web stretched across the galaxy. Production is up 300%, Kelly reported. Every factory on Earth is making weapons. Every shipyard is building warships. We are pulling people out of retirement and pushing them through combat training. Morrison nodded. What about the colonies? They are adapting faster than we expected, Kelly said. New Texas has gone completely underground. They have tunnels, connecting every building. Hidden weapon caches every 50 meters. Ben Carter has turned 20,000 farmers into guerrilla fighters. The display zoomed in on New Texas. The planet looked peaceful from space. Green fields and small towns scattered across 3 continents. But underground, a massive network of tunnels and bunkers was taking shape. Ben Carter had been a wheat farmer 6 months ago. Now he was training civilians to build bombs and set traps. His wife Mary ran the communications network. His teenage son Pete was learning to pilot combat drones. Iron Ridge is different, Kelly continued. They are using the asteroid field as cover. Every space rock now has weapons hidden inside. The miners are building mobile gun platforms that look like cargo haulers. Engineer Sophie Clark walked into the command center. She looked tired but excited. Her team had been working around the clock on what they called Project Hellfire. Admiral, we have the first batch ready, Clark said. She carried a small metal device the size of a briefcase. Quantum entanglement bombs. They ignore shields and armor. They attack matter at the atomic level. Morrison studied the device. It looked harmless. How many do we have? 50 so far. We can make 10 more each day, Clark said. But that is not the important part. The important part is the delivery system. She activated a holographic display. It showed a small ship no bigger than a fighter. Craft. These are Widow-class attack vessels. 1 pilot, minimal life support, maximum speed, and maneuverability. They are designed for suicide runs. Rodriguez joined the group. She had been coordinating with the outer colonies. The psychological profiles are coming in from the frontier worlds. Every human settlement is showing the same pattern. No fear. No requests for evacuation. They are angry. Angry is good, Morrison said. Angry humans fight harder. Dr. Foster appeared on the communications screen from her research facility. Behind her, technicians worked on strange-looking weapons. Admiral, I have completed the biological warfare analysis. The Zephyrians have a weakness. The main display switched to show alien anatomy. The Zephyrian body was complex, with multiple nervous systems and redundant organs. They used genetic modification to create their warrior castes, Foster explained. Their entire military structure depends on artificial enhancement. What does that mean for us? Morrison asked. It means they are not natural fighters, Foster said. Take away their enhancements and they become farmers and builders again. I am developing weapons that target their modification systems. Lieutenant Dan Brooks entered the command center with a stack of data tablets. He was the best code breaker in human space. Sir, we have intercepted Zephyrian communications. They are moving faster than expected. The display showed enemy fleet positions. The Zephyrian advance force was already in hyperspace, heading toward human territory. They will arrive in 6 days, not 30, Brooks said. They want to catch us before we can prepare. Morrison felt his stomach tighten. 6 days was not enough time. Most of the defense preparations needed weeks to complete. What is their target? New Texas, Brooks said. They want to make an example of our biggest agricultural world. Show other colonies what happens to planets that refuse to surrender. Ben, Carter's face appeared on the communication screen. He was standing in an underground command bunker surrounded by farmers in military gear. Admiral, we are as ready as we can be. If they want New Texas, they can have it. But they will pay for every inch. Morrison looked around the command center. Every person there knew the odds. The Zephyrian advance force had 50 bioships and support craft. The human fleet had maybe 30 ships that could reach New Texas in time. It would not be enough. General Kelly, what is our fleet status? Morrison asked. The Defiance is ready to deploy with Battle Group 7, Kelly said. 31 ships total. Captain Rodriguez will command the escort fighters. It is not much, but it is what we have. Clark held up another device. Admiral, I have something else. The Berserker Protocol. The room went quiet. Everyone had heard rumors about the Berserker Protocol, but no one knew the details. Foster had been working on it for 3 years in complete secrecy. What exactly is the Berserker Protocol? Morrison asked. Foster's face appeared on screen again. It is a combat enhancement system for human soldiers. Chemical and neural modifications that remove fear, increase aggression, and enhance tactical thinking. It turns ordinary humans into perfect killing machines. Rodriguez looked uncomfortable. What are the side effects? Death? Foster said bluntly. The system burns out the human nervous system in about 6 hours. But for those 6 hours, a berserker-enhanced human is the most dangerous fighter in the galaxy. Morrison stared at the data. The enhancement would let human soldiers match Zephyrian warriors in single combat. But every soldier who used it would die. How many volunteers do we have? Morrison asked quietly. Every human in the military has. Volunteered, Kelly said. And about half the civilian population. We are going to have to turn people away. The communications board lit up with incoming messages from the colonies. Morrison read them as they came in. Iron Ridge, we are ready. Poseidon's Rest, bring them on. The research stations in the Kepler sector. Our labs are now weapon factories. Brooks interrupted with urgent news. Sir, we have a message from the Zephyrian fleet. Ambassador Velthan wants to negotiate. The alien's face filled the main screen. Crix Velthan looked the same as before, but his voice seemed different. Less certain. Humans of Earth, Velthan said. We offer one final chance for peace. Surrender now and your species will be relocated to suitable worlds within our empire. Refuse, and we will demonstrate why 800 species have chosen to submit. Morrison stood up. Every person in the command center watched him. Earth's entire population was watching through news feeds. The colonies were listening on emergency frequencies. Ambassador Velthan, Morrison said, humanity has considered your offer. Our answer is no. We will not surrender our worlds. We will not submit to your empire. If you want what we have built, you will have to take it by force. Velthan's crystalline eyes seemed to dim. You choose extinction over survival. We do not understand this choice. That is your first mistake, Morrison said. You do not understand humans at all. We choose to fight because fighting is what we do. We choose war because war is better than slavery. Come to New Texas, Ambassador. Come and learn what human war looks like. The transmission ended. The command center was silent for a moment. Then every communication channel exploded with messages from human worlds. Not surrender requests, not evacuation demands. Battle reports. Sir, Rodriguez said. Every colony is requesting permission to engage. They want to fight. Morrison looked at the tactical display one more time. Red dots for human worlds. Blue arrows showing the approaching Zephyrian fleet. It should have been terrifying. Instead, Morrison felt something he had not expected. Pride. Send word to all commands, Morrison said. Human space is now under total war protocols. Every civilian is now military. Every world is now a battlefield. And every human is now a weapon. Clark gathered her equipment. I will deploy the quantum bombs to the fleet. Foster's image flickered. The biological weapons will be ready in 4 days. Brooks organized his intelligence data. I will monitor enemy communications. Kelly pulled up deployment orders. The fleet launches in 12 hours. Rodriguez checked her flight suit. The fighters are ready for combat. Morrison walked to the observation window. Earth hung below him, blue and white and beautiful. In 6 days, the most powerful military force in the galaxy would attack human space. They expected easy victory. They expected quick surrender. They were about to learn that humans were different from every other species they had conquered. Humans did not calculate odds. Humans did not weigh costs and benefits. When humans were cornered, they fought with a fury that would shock the galaxy. "Admiral," Kelly said, "what are your final orders?" Morrison turned back to his staff. These people would either save humanity or die trying. Either way, they would not quit. "Make them regret asking for war," Morrison said. "Make them wish they had never heard of humanity. And make sure that any species watching learns what happens when you threaten human children." The war was 6 days away. Earth was ready.